Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, so I'm using another mic. You just tell me means which is comfortable. So I'm using one more mic. I'm unplugging this first one. So I'm using this second mic, and I think you cannot hear mic. So yes, how is this mic? Yes, how is this mic?
Sir, it's audible and it's clear.
Okay. No, if I take the second one, if I use second mic, then I cannot hear you. I can see only your text. But if I use the first one, I can simultaneously hear you. So just tell me which is more clear, second one or first one?
No difference, or both are the same.
Okay, thank you. So I think so. You have offline classes from February 4th, right?
Yes, sir.
I think you have, yeah. So So everyone, I think everyone should come to campus, right? I don't think some of you cannot come, but I think everyone should come. So maybe you're going to enjoy your college ambience very soon, but I don't know how would be the impact of offline teaching.
So what about the
But I think
timetable, sir?
timetable, I think same. It remains same. I think it won't change. We don't know anything as of now. So any new timetable or whatever, I think that will be reflected on 2nd February maximum. As of now, no information. Today 28th, so 3 more days left to complete this month. So 3 plus 2. So just wait for 4 to 5 days for any new timetable. I don't think there will be any change because Saturday, as usual, holiday, but we don't know what they will do. So let's wait for that. One second. So most of you may be worrying that now faculty will see you in class. So if it is online classes, maybe more than 50% of you will be elsewhere when class is active. But this time, again, routine stuff. But I think you can enjoy that for a week from the inception. And again, after a week, I mean, you will, I think, get disgusted with this classroom study. Maybe whatever. It varies from person to person. Oh, 1 minute. I need to flip this laptop 360 180 degrees. Okay. So I'm seeing 48 participants. I think total strength is around 58. I'm seeing 46 participants, and the remaining still the one time. Okay. Yeah, it's taking time to open. So we are done with the bisection method, right? So we understood what bisection method is. Why am I unable to take the previous one? Which one I have come? So we have understood about bisection method, right? Completely. And also we know where to stop. What I'm doing, what I'm getting. Okay, it's going elsewhere. So when can we stop this bisection method? When can we stop iterations? It's taking time. What is this you're seeing now? Okay, when can we stop using, bisection method? What I mean to ask you is, 1 second. Oh my God, it's getting stuck. Don't know why it's getting stuck. Okay. So did you go through this algorithm? Did you go through this algorithm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, restart to install the latest Windows updates. I don't know why it's stucking. It's stucking like anything. So we understood this. I got it. So when do you stop? So until f of xns becomes 0. So until we reach this, we have to keep on iterate. Okay, but the reality is that for very complex questions, you don't get this f of xns equal to 0 that fast. So there must be a certain stopping criterion as we discussed. This must be there. So examiner will give you, or your company or your industry or whoever, or your boss will give you some stopping criterion, something like this. So until you reach certain stopping criterion, we have to keep on iterate to get our approximate answer. Okay. So now we will see like where to stop. Like okay. So for that, let's write like this. Estimation of errors in numerical solutions. So we should know these things. There are certain methods to estimate numerical solutions. So those, and we will study some 4 methods, and out of 4, one of the measures we use very frequently. See, what we know is that our numerical solutions, since numerical solutions are not exact, they are not exact. So now what you do, so therefore we can say like this, some criterion has to be applied. Yes or not? We have to have certain criterion to determine whether an estimated solution is accurate enough. Okay, for that, some criterion is required. Okay, since our numerical solutions, they are not exact. Now to do this, we have certain measures, or we can write like this: several measures. So we have several measures can be used. Measures can be used to estimate, can be used to estimate the accuracy So who is class here?
Sir,
Who
roll
is
number 38 boys. Yes.
okay? So what about girls here? Is she absent today? Is she present today or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she is present. So okay, fine, no fine. So what is your class strength?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Thank you. So may I know your class strength?
Yes, sir.
No, no. Boys here can answer. I think girls here. I think she has low bandwidth.
58, sir.
50.
58. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
58. Okay. So out of 58, 10 students remained absent. So one of you, please note down the attendance, means list out the absentees. So the time is 5:11. Whatever health problems they have with internet, whatever, it's their fault because class will close at 4:50. So within 10 minutes, you have to adjust for the second class. So because I'm not going to accept their attendance, okay, for the next 1 week from now because things are very students are not really showing that courtesy we can't take. So tomorrow they have lab, right? So for lab, anyways, I'll give absent for labs as well, so there is no use. Okay. So please note down those numbers. Okay. Okay, CR.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Several, so you have to give me 10 absentees, okay? That's it. Several measures can be used to estimate the accuracy of an approximate solution of an, sorry. Yeah, so this is interesting. What could be it's getting stuck? My God, something is happening. Something happened to this OneNote. It's going off. Okay, what we wrote, several measures can be used to estimate the accuracy of an approximate solution. I hope you are with me. Okay, so we are applying some criterion to estimate the numerical solution with good accuracy, and to estimate a solution with certain good accuracy, whatever, we need some measures. Okay, so now the thing is that the decision as to which measure to use depends on the application and has to be made by the person solving the equation. So that's not a big deal for us. So there are some measures. So now what we do, and we will carry forward some 4 measures now. Okay, let's see some 4 measures and we will rate them. I mean, like which measure is good to approximate a numerical solution. Okay, the first measure is finding out true error. This is the first measure, finding out true error. And second one is you need to find tolerance in the function. So find tolerance in the function, like something, it's a univariate function, or it's a one-dimensional function because this is my variable. I have a single variable function or univariate function. So tolerance in f of x. And third measure could be to estimate the numerical solution properly. You have certain measures. So which measure you want to use? So you have one more that is called as, say, tolerance in the solution. Yeah. So what difference we have between 2 and 3? Because see, here we have tolerance in f of x, I mean the function, but here we have tolerance in the solution, not the function. So which measure we are going to use, that depends upon the application, and of course also that depends upon the user. So, and also you have like what you call, like I say, relative error. So means very often we use the fourth one, relative error technique we use. When I say relative error, again I have two things. One is the ideal case, that is, which is not possible for us to calculate, but ideally we can calculate this. True relative error, true relative error, and second one is uh, estimated relative error, or some textbooks give you like this, approximated relative error. All right. So I have four measures to estimate my numerical solution: true error, tolerance in the function, tolerance in the solution, and relative error. So when I say relative error, you have two again stuff: true relative error or approximated relative error. Okay. So very often what we choose is this. Don't know why my, okay. We often choose approximated relative error in finding out the estimated, accuracy of the estimated solution. Now, you know what? True error, when I say true error is nothing but the difference between true solution and numerical solution. Now, you tell me, is it possible for us to find true error here? Because true error is what? XTS means exact solution or true root or exact root. And XNS means you're going to, of course, estimate the root value numerically. That's whatever XNS, whatever. So end of the day, you have true error as XTS minus XNS. Now, can you tell me, can we find this true error or not? Can we find this true error or not? What do you think? Can we find?
Yes, sir, we can find.
Sir,
How? How can you find? You cannot calculate true error because the true solution is generally not known. I don't know what is XTS first of all. XTS is not known. If XTS is known to you, of course you can find. But for example, you see x to the power of 10 minus 1. Now, what is f of, what must be x value here for f of x to be 0?
1, sir.
Yeah. So therefore, I can say true value is 1. In this case, it's okay. If you take, for example, say you have f of x equal to some x e power x minus 1. Now, what is true value here? Don't know. Yes or not? So obviously, the fact is that generally you don't know this stuff. So to know this stuff, you're approaching that numerically. That's what our codes. So if I don't know this, if I don't know this guy, I really can't do anything with this. So true error is a blank. I can't do anything with that. Now, second one is tolerance in the function. Okay, anyways, we are taking univariate functions. So tolerance in the function means, see, instead of considering the error in the solution, it is possible to consider the deviation of f of xns from 0. Okay. What is, I mean, what I'm saying is this. The second one is this, that is tolerance in my function f of x. Let me put in very simple words. This is nothing but like this. I don't take values, but I'll take functional values. F of xts minus f of xns. You take its absolute value. You take the absolute value. Now, see, for example, what must be the value for f of xts here? What must be the value for f of xts?
0, sir.
Very good. So this is 0. So what must be the value for f of xns? I don't know. After some iterations, I'm going to finalize my xns, and I would think f of xns is a very, very small value close to 0, epsilon, where I can say, what I can say now is where epsilon is a small number. Okay, I can say like this. Epsilon is a small number, say of course close to 0. We have to, what's happening to this one node today? Automatic things are running behind. I don't know what's really happening with this. I didn't do anything. Okay, where epsilon is small number, then I can say that 0 minus epsilon, yes or not? That means simply I can say always, because negative epsilon or positive epsilon, if you take its absolute value, you'll always get positive value, right? Yes or not? So I can say that tolerance in f of x, tolerance in f of x is the, what I can call now, this is the absolute value. When someone asks you tolerance in the function to accurately estimate the numerical solution, now you can say that's the absolute value of the function at xns. Yes or not? Because the value at f of, I mean at xns, f of xns equal to epsilon, and you're taking the absolute value of it, so I can simply say tolerance in the function is the absolute value of the function at xns. Okay. Now the third one is tolerance in the solution. Today this guy is torturing me. Tolerance So a moment ago, we understood about tolerance in the function. Now let's see tolerance in the solution. See, this tolerance in the solution, especially this guy is true. This is especially true with, bracketing methods. What are bracketing methods here? Bracketing methods are closed methods. That means we always trap the root, or we always bracket the root. Say, for example, as I told you already, your exercise is this. This is your function. This is a true value. And this we will bracket within some interval like AB. Okay. So like it's like we are bracketing the root. We are bracketing the root means we are closing the root, or we are trapping the root. Okay, so this is the meaning of bracketing methods always. So we use the tolerance in the solution technique, especially with bracketing methods. So you know what you call. Now you tell me, in the bisection method, what did you do? How did you estimate the numerical solution here in the bisection method? You said like a plus b by 2. Yes or not? This is how we estimated numerical solution in the bisection method. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now to this, this stuff, what I'll do now is I'll just add or subtract tolerance. So my numerical solution, I can adjust like this. Xns equal to a plus b by 2. I know this is my estimated numerical solution, But to this stuff, I need to add or subtract tolerance. Now tolerance is nothing but tolerance is half of the distance like between A and B. So now let me take another color. Which color I will take? Okay. So this tolerance is nothing but you take B minus A by 2. Yeah. So tolerance in the solution, I can practice this. Especially see tolerance in this solution technique is really good with, I mean, it's okay, not really good. It's okay with bracketing methods. Okay. Because also we're going to study open methods. It may not be that good with open methods, but it may be sometimes good with bracketing. That means you have certain options, man. You have options like 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one you want to choose? That is up to you. Okay. You will come to know with with practice, and also of course with experience or whatever. If you are a smart or quick, if you're a smart learner, you will definitely looking at the problem, you will come to know which one to be used. But according to your syllabus, we often use the fourth one. Okay, that's it. This is one of the ways of doing that. Now relative error. So last one is relative error. So this guy is interesting. So relative error. So I say again, what you have true relative error, and also what do you have here? You have a estimated or approximated relative error. All right. So now, when I say true relative error, I would write down like this, true relative error is nothing but my true solution minus the numerical solution. You know what? I will take this in each and every iteration here. And we will do one problem, you'll understand what is that. Okay. So can I find true relative error anytime? Can we find true relative error?
No, sir.
Why?
We need to find the XTS, no, sir. True
Correct.
solution.
So XTS is again unknown to us. So this guy is unknown. So therefore, generally, true relative error, you can say cannot be calculated. True relative error can say cannot be calculated since XTS is unknown. I can write down like this, since this guy is unknown. Okay. You must be insatiable, in learning concepts. That's really important. Now, but what about estimated relative error? So, or estimated or approximated, I would say estimated or approximated relative error. Any guesses? So what about this one? This is quite a simple stuff. That means, see, in every iteration, we will have some numerical, in every iteration, we'll have some numerical values, right? Some numerical estimation or numerical root. So I will write down like this, xns present. For you, I will write down like present minus xns previous. Okay, so I'm writing everything for you divided by xns present. You know what is this present and previous? For example, you see, first time I will take the value for A and I will take B and I will find xns, yes or not? And accordingly, I will find my what you call this is my estimated or approximated. So I will give for this as like epsilon a error. Okay, and I will find epsilon a. So initially you have some a, some b, and you get some xns. Okay, for the first one I can't find epsilon a. Why? I don't have any previous xns for this. Yes or not? Yes or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that means as there is no previous stuff, I have xns present by xns present, that's equal to 1. So I can take like this also, percentage, that means I can also take epsilon a in percentage. If I take in percentage relative error, okay, for example, you see, I will take like this, percentage approximated relative error. Then what do I do? Then this is nothing but epsilon a is equal to xns present minus xns previous by xns present divided times 100%. Yes or not? This is what you have. I can just take percentage relative error. Now I have a question for you. Now can I do like this here? Can I take this way? xns present minus xns. Why I'm taking it absolute value? Because error must be always positive, right? Error, a positive value is more meaningful. Can I take in the denominator divided by previous value? Here this is present, right? Now I took previous. Can I take like this? Can I take like this? Any idea? Any guesses? Can I take this way? Yes or no?
Denominator should be big value.
Denominator should be
Big.
It should
no.
be by 2 or into.
It should be by
So the previous and present values must be in half no, sir.
no. I'm what I'm saying is that denominator we used xns present. Here we used xns previous. Can I use the second one to estimate approximate relative error? That's what I'm asking, because we accepted whatever it is, we accepted this way, present minus previous by present. What I'm saying is, can I take present minus previous by previous? This is also correct. Yeah, this is also correct. But very often we go for the first one. But anyways, first or second, hardly you will get 1 or 2 iterations difference. Otherwise, both are equally fine. So I have see now based on this xns, I got some new a, new b, and because of new a and new b, I'll get some xns in this case. This is xns2, this is xns1. Yes or not? Now in this case, what do I do? In this case, how do I find this one here? I can find like xns2 minus xns1 divided by xns, yeah, what? 2. Yes or not? Yeah, I'm trying to find for epsilon a. I can find out like this. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. So that depends now, so very often we use approximated or estimated percentage relative error to find out the accurate numerical estimated solution, whatever. So, and that's it. So we will solve a problem, and I hope things will be clear with a simple or with a Chotu problem. Okay. We may not have a big space to write down of things. So anyways, we're going to have offline classes. It will be hectic for me because writing down all the tablets, all the table forms, everything will take some decent It will take a big time for me. Yeah, anyways. So let me take down a problem. For example, here you'll in examinations you will get these kind of questions. Okay, I mean, what question? So I can take means two question like this. Okay, the question may be find the root. Find the root. I don't know my root. Find a root of an equation. Why this guy is struggling, I don't know. F of x equal to x cubed minus x minus 1. And they may give you like this using bisection method. Okay. You know what? In the question, they will also give you the interval. I mean, the lower and upper limits they will give. Are you able to get this? Say using bisection method. See, in the question, they may give like this within the interval. So within the interval, something they will give. So they will give some closed limits like this. Say maybe in this case, say 0 comma, what you call, okay, 0 comma say 4. Say I just give something like this within the interval 0 comma 4. Now, how do you tackle down this? Now, first of all, what to do here? We have to bracket the root, right? Our first goal is we have to bracket the root or we have to trap the root. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So to bracket the root, okay, this fellow gave me something like f of 0. I'll put it here f of 0. I'll put 0 f of, what is f of 0 now? F of 0 is -1. So this is what negative, I mean, that means this guy is, that means I can say f of 0 is negative, less than 0. Okay, because I got -1. So therefore, f of 0 less than 0. What if I put f of 1, x equal to 1, then what do we get?
-1, sir.
Yeah. So for x equal to 1 also you are getting negative value. So f of 1 is equal to again -1. So f of 1 is also less than 0. Now you tell me, is there any sign change in the function?
No, sir.
No. So there is no root between 0 and 1. Yes or not? There is no root between 0 and 1. Agree? Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir.
I go for f of 2. So f of 2 is equal to, I get what? 8 minus 2
Yes, sir.
minus 1. So you get 5. So you get now positive 5. So as it is, as the stuff is positive, so I would say you have f of 2 is positive. Now you tell me, will there be a root between 1 and 2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because there is a sign change. Here there is or there exists sign change. I mean, 1 is negative, so this guy is negative, and this guy is positive. So there is a sign change. So therefore, there must be. So therefore, there must be a root between x equal to 1 and 2. So now that means, see, usually what they will do, you know, in the examination, what they will do, they will define this, they will predetermine this and will give it to you interval. Okay, I just gave it, I just took a general case like this. So now you tell me, I need not take a equal to 0 and b equal to 4. Yes or not? If I take a equal to 0 and b equal to 4, I will waste my time with some iterations. Yes or not? So instead of that, now what do? Can I choose now from this? I can choose a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. Yes or not? I can choose like this. So instead of taking a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 4, so I can say that as there is a sign change between these two quantities, I can say there is root between 1 and 2. So a could be 1 and b could be 2, right? Right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Okay, so therefore you simply don't trap with these things. Okay, just you can check it down. If something is given like this, just check once. Sometimes you have to check like this. Otherwise this is correct. You take a is equal to 0, b equal to 4. Instead of finishing the problem with some 10 iterations, you may go up to some 15 iterations. Who knows? So iterations will cost. It will take some more time. That's it. Otherwise, answer you will definitely get. So please don't confuse why sort took a is equal to 1, b equal to 2, not a equal to 0, b equal to 4. You take, please. No problem, man. You can take a equal to 0, b equal to 4 also, but you have to pay some penalty in terms of iterations. That's it. Otherwise, it's a very good habit of checking things like this. Okay. But in the examination, you know what they will do? They will always give something like this. Directly, they will give it to you. So whatever, see in the examination, do one thing. If most probably what they will do, whatever they give within those closed brackets, that will be NB directly. Otherwise, you can check. That's not a problem. So now you make one table like this. Iteration number 1. So iterations. Okay, and what you will take, how do we, let us organize this, how can we organize, we will organize like this, like your first one is a, then we will find like f of a, then find b, then find f of b. Actually this f of a, f of b, it's okay, it will take some, okay, but not required really. So if you want, you can make your table very big here, that's it. Otherwise, it's not required to take all these things. XNS, and this is epsilon A in percentage. What is epsilon A there? What is epsilon A? What is epsilon A here?
Estimate.
Percentage estimated relative error, or I can say what? Or I can say that
Tolerance in
percentage
solution.
percentage approximated relative error. In this case, A stands for approximated. That's it. Very easy, man. This is not at all difficult. I don't know how I can draw these things on classboard. No, it will kill our time like anything. Which mode you like? Which mode you like, online or offline? Because anyways, you have experience of offline, right? Now you are enjoying online. Which mode you think is good? మీకు కొంచెం ట్రైనింగ్ ఇప్పించాలమ్మా. How to
Offline, sir.
offline. Okay, thank you. Whoever is responding, thank you very much. Others must be trained here. You must be sent to army for some 2 to 3 years. Really, you're disciplined, but army fellows, how they speak, I think you know very well. They shout like anything, right? వాళ్ళు అసలు మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి స్పీకర్స్తో ఏం పని లేదు, because they will just attack like that. So this guy ఏదో అయిపోయింది రావు, పని చేయట్లేదు. This guy is stuck. Don't know what to do. Okay, ఏం స్కేల్ అవ్వట్లేదు. He is not responding today. Okay. He is not responding well. Oh, okay. He responded somehow. So iterations, I'll go for, say, I can say 0th iteration. Some textbooks will give you 0th iteration. Or you can take first iteration, what's wrong in that? Iteration number 1. What is my A? A is equal to 1, right? Now, when A is equal to 1, what is f of A here? Minus 1. So put here minus 1. What is my B? My B is 2. So my B is 2. So when B is 2, what is f of 2? Positive 5. Okay. Now what is my xns? What is my
3.5, sir.
xn is 3.5, 3. Okay. A plus B by 2 kada. So I think 1.5. xns is A plus B by 2. So I can say 1 plus 2 by 2. This is 1.5. So xns is 1.5. Now what is f of 1.5? I don't have MATLAB installed in this laptop directly. I could have shown you. But what is f of tomorrow? Anyways, we will see that. What is f of 1.5? So
23 by
you
8,
have,
sir.
yeah, how much is that? So you have to
0.
put in this.
0.875, sir.
Oh, great. You're right. So, Indra bhai ide. Okay, so 0.875. Now, what about epsilon A? So, present minus previous. I don't have any previous stuff. So, present, what I have here? I have present minus previous by present. Okay, into 100. All right. I don't have any previous for the first iteration. The first iteration stuff is, of course, the present stuff. So, present by present is equal to what? 1, right? So 1 into 100. What is 1 into 100 here? Right?
100, sir.
So 100%. Very good. Now I'll go for iteration number 2. Now you tell me, in the iteration number 2, what do I do? You read your algorithm steps. Now you tell me, what should we take for iteration number 2?
A is 1 and B is 7 by 8.
Okay, great. In iteration number 2, A is 1, and what must be my B?
1.5.
Very good. So how do I do that? Because I knew this. There is a root. So I have A is equal to 1 here. Initially I have A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2. So I got f of A initially less than 0. And this guy, I got f of B greater than 0. So there must be root between these two. So somewhere there must be root. Say this is my root value. Somewhere I'm taking. I don't know anything. Okay, somewhere. Otherwise, okay, let me. Okay. So there may be some. What do I do? There may be some root. Okay, I will take some root file somewhere here. I don't take anything here. I take some root value somewhere here. This is my say, or to make it. Okay, so this is my say true value. This is my root value. I'm somewhere, maybe somewhere here, say close to A. All right. Now you found A plus B by 2. So you have xns somewhere here. Now this is my xns. So xns equal to, you obtained just now 1.5. Now what do? I have to check this. If f of A multiplied by f of xns, this is my say first estimation, xns1. If it is less than 0, then root is between where here? Root is in between
1 and 1.5.
A and xns1. Yes or not? Otherwise, root is in between what? xns1 and B. Yeah, otherwise, I am writing down here only for the first one. Second one onwards, not required to write on everything, because I think you understood things clear. Greater than 0, so this guy must be in between, root is in between x and s1 and b. So are we all clear up to this? Everyone, please confirm this. Are we all clear up to this? How to
Yes, sir.
okay, that's fine. Then now f of a is equal to, what do you have for in the first iteration? F of a is equal to -1. I have here -1, so I put here -1 multiplied by f of x n s1. So what do I have? I have 0.875. So now what do we get? The answer is negative 0.875, which is less than 0. All right. If this is less than 0, root is in between this a and x n s1. So now you tell me what is b here? What is my b?
1.5, sir.
Yeah, no, of course. X n s, of course, you're right. This is my b, right? Yes or not?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So therefore, this is my a. For second time, I got a like this, and this became my b. So say bye-bye to this. Remove this fellow somewhere. Say bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. He is no more. Gone, this guy. Okay. So we decided that, and a is still 1. I'll take just 2 minutes to complete this. Okay. A is 1. And my b is 1.5. First fixed like this, a is 1. So for a is equal to 1, I know f of a is what? -1. And for b equal to 1.5, f of 1.5 is equal to what? I have already here 0.875. So if I calculate once, things will repeat like that. Now what is xns here? Xns equal to what? A plus b by 2. Now what is my a? Of course, a is equal to 1. Now what is
1.25, sir.
yeah, my new b is not 2, this is 1.5. So 1 plus 1.5 by 2. I'm very poor in mathematics, so please help me. Is it 1.25 here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is 1.25. Now what is f of 1.25? F of 1.25 means go here. You put in this case in x equal to 1.25. Just put.
Minus 0.296, sir.
Very good. So that means thank you very much. So you are very fast in using calci. So minus 0.29688. Okay. Now how to find epsilon a? Now how to find epsilon a?
1.25 minus
Present
1.5.
minus
Present minus previous by present. So I will write down for you for the first time. So next time onwards, I think you can go home and what the hell is showing up here? Okay. Anyways, so let me write down for you. So this will be 1.25 minus 1.5 divided by 1.25. Okay, multiplied by 100. How much we get now? This must be, see, absolute value means this is a positive value. So how much we get here?
20, sir. 20%.
Yeah, see, so 20%. So 100, we came down from 100% to 20%. That means I'm approaching towards solution, right? Error is decreasing means approaching towards solution. Similarly, go home and find out iteration number 3, 4, 5. Okay, you find up to 5 iterations. 3, sorry, you find 3, 4, 5 up to 6 iterations. Okay, and you please tell me xns in the 6th iteration and also the error here. Okay, I mean error here. You have to see to that error must decrease from iteration to iteration. You should see to that error must decrease. Are you able to understand this? If error is decreasing from iteration to iteration, that means you are going close to the answer, or you are converging to the answer. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then please tell me the answer for xns. Xns is going to be our approximated root value, and at that xns, what is epsilon a? Okay. So that's it for today. So let me sign off. Do you have any questions?